Hello, everyone. This is Jake, and I've got my friend Ben here. Ben runs a cell phone money saving business for companies, and I'm going to let him go into it.
So the technical term, what we do is wireless expense management. So what we do is we essentially take corporate and government cell phone accounts, we plug them into our online SaaS, and we pull a lot of analytical data off of their current usage and their monthly bill. And we use that data to analyze essentially where they can be saving a lot of money. Typically we save 20%.
And Ben, how long ago did you create, what was the company's name again?
Solytics.
And how long ago did you create this company?
November of 2003 is when we started, so we're just over 3 years.
2003 or 2013?
Sorry, 2013.
So 3 years. There we go.
I've been in the cell phone industry since like 2003 probably.
Okay, that would make sense then.
Yeah.
Well, Ben and I went through the 5 major values, and it was interesting talking to him beforehand because he explained how some of these don't really apply or they mesh together. And so he's going to go through it with me, and he's going to break it down a little bit easier through his aspects and through what he does on a day-to-day experience for him.
So, am I okay just to
go for it.
Okay, so the value in exchange is probably the first thing I would focus on. A lot of times, the value in use. A lot of customers, they don't necessarily recognize the value in our product until we point it out to them, and we actually show our service to them. So essentially, what we do is we'll go into a company and we'll tell them what we do. Hey, we save money, and a lot of times we get the response of, oh, we already have someone who manages our cell phone, in house. And so what we typically do is we try and set them up on a demo. So we get their account info, we put it into our software, and then once we pull all the data, at that point we can point out to them, hey, here's where you guys are not being cost effective in your expenditure or in your wireless expense. And then at that point, that's where we really show the value to the customer. So I don't know if you want me to, if that's good or if I should.
That's perfect.
Okay. Value and distribution, that one's a little tricky because maybe it's not, we don't necessarily manufacture anything. All of our, we offer a service is what we do. And so the distribution is, it's very easy. It's the availability and accessibility, and it's accessible to virtually anyone. It's not necessarily accessible to consumers because we focus mainly on corporate and government. But since we don't have necessarily any physical, anything that we're selling, it's very easy to distribute. And not only that, it's very easy to find distributors. Other wireless carriers. There's even certain parts of like AT&T who they've been interested in offering our product through one of their channels. Value in finance. This one's a little bit, I guess, harder for me to talk about because I kind of really have to go into some of our past failures, and how our revenue's coming in and how we're doing as a company, how we're growing. Honestly, the first couple of years we really had minimal growth. It really hasn't been until maybe the past year that we've actually started to see some substantial growth. But we don't really have a whole lot of overhead. We have an office. Servers online servers.
Well, it was kind of interesting because when we were talking, he talked about how his company would go in and look at their numbers and use his computer program with their numbers and show them where the money was being spent in wrong places. And he gave an example about how he went to a company and in 45 minutes he found a way that they could save, what was it, $7,500?
$75,000.
$75,000 a month within 45 minutes of him sitting down and talking with them, and they were on board. They're like, wow, we can save all this extra money. Where's the dotted line? It was really interesting. Within 45 minutes he was able to go in, and his company has a lot of actually huge companies that they're working with, a lot of local companies here in Salt Lake, and a lot of headquartered companies that are headquartered here in Salt Lake, but that are signed with them or that are thinking about signing just because of the astronomical amounts of money that they're going to save.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you pointed out, because another aspect or problem that we actually run into with our company is a lot of times when we go on and we show these individuals how much money they can save. We've actually had times where employees they didn't want to work with us, because then they would have to point out to their executives how much they weren't actually doing their job. Like, it was their job to manage this, right? And then we go in and we show them, hey, here's all the money you can save. So we've had them panic and not want to work with us before, even when there's substantial savings.
That's their job on the line right there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And so, I mean, we never take the approach of going in as, hey, we want to come in and we want to replace someone that's already working here. We take the approach of, here's an extra tool that you can utilize to make your job easier. You know, I mean, that's, I don't know. Value in fitness. So our ability to grow is actually quite substantial. I mean, we can scale. We've tried to set up our business to where we can scale very easily. With our software being all online, it allows us to, essentially all we have to do in order to scale is to rent more service space, because our entire software being online allows us to just expand like crazy. You know, the main thing that really has held us back is finding good sales reps. You know, I mean, our product, it's easy to sell. The hard part is actually getting to the proper person to make the sell. That's probably, I would say, the biggest hurdle that we run into is finding people who can get past the initial kind of the gatekeepers, I guess you could say, to get to the person who would actually make the decision. That's probably the biggest
challenge.
The challenge that we run into.
Well, that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, unless you have any other questions.
No. Well, Ben, I appreciate it. Thanks for helping me get an A on this assignment. And if you want to get a sales job and you're good at sales, you can talk to Ben, and appreciate it. Thank you.